Why do we get sick? Is that a question you ask yourself periodically or even frequently? Do you seem to be in a cycle of one sick issue after another? Or are your children constantly sick? Well, it is a really good question to ask, but we shouldn't just leave it there. It's important to get an answer. So take a listen to this podcast to help you take a look at possibly how you are on a cycle of sickness and disease. Welcome to my podcast, Giving You a Fresh Start After Trauma. I'm Regina Sanchez, your host, and I'm so glad you're here. Starting over after trauma can be a blend of real pain and some hope, sadness and then some joy. It's a mixture of moments of faith and then moments of fear. There will be times when you'd rather not remember, but then times of excitement. You may fail along the way, but if you keep moving forward, your discouragement will turn to peace. Some days you may feel like giving up, and other days you're running in your race to victory. That, my friend, is a journey of having a fresh start after trauma. And if you are in any of these places and need some encouragement, you have stopped at the right place. Let's journey together to giving you a fresh start after trauma. Join me now to be revived, rejuvenated, and restored to a place of living free from your past emotional pain. Hello, friends. I am so glad you're here for this important message. It's Regina Sanchez, your spiritual life and health coach, wanting to guide you to health and wholeness. We live in a cause and effect world, or some people say a sowing and reaping world. What you sow, you'll reap. So if you are not eating clean, sleeping well, managing stress, or having good lifestyle habits, your body will reap negative results. I love this statement from Dr. Perlmutter. He says, chronic disease rates are skyrocketing. It's not because our genes have changed, but because our lifestyles have. A consideration to look at is, many people live in a mode of deficiencies. Now, they tend to think that, I don't eat a lot, I really don't. But the fact is, they probably, number one, eat too much. And then what they eat is causing them to be nutritionally starved. You can be overeating and still be nutritionally starved. How? Because you're eating the wrong foods. Maybe you're eating out a lot, or you eat a lot of fast foods, or a lot of processed foods, or you snack more than you prepare a balanced meal. Those things will cause you to be nutritionally deficient. Your body is craving nutrition. Well, when that happens, some people get frustrated, right? And they'll turn to be a vegan or follow a plant-based diet. If that's you, are you finding that works for you? Do you find that it's sustainable? Are you getting enough protein? Your body needs good protein, especially if you exercise a lot or if you're a woman that still menstruates. A lack of protein or not enough protein can easily cause you to become iron deficient. For me, it's all about balance. I see many dangers in our medical industry where they're in the cut, burn, poison treatment mode. But let's not just give them a negative rating. Also, things can go way to the other side in the natural healing industry. If you watch videos like Forks and Knives where they totally bastardize eating meat, and they say plant-based is the only way, on some level they're deceiving you. And in two ways, because one specific way of eating is not always for everyone. And that is one thing they do promote. And what they're not telling you is that they're comparing eating meat from these farms called CAFO or CAFO, they're concentrated animal feeding operations. They're farms where the cattle is just all consolidated. They're concentrated in this one feeding area, and they never go out to roam. They're not grass-fed, they're grain-fed. And they don't get to be out in nature like they're created to be. But they don't mention eating grass-fed, grass-finished organic meat. So they compare the meats that are in these farms, these concentrated animal farms, and they say how toxic and dangerous they are. And so don't eat those. You need to become a vegan or you need to become plant-based. Well, that's deception. And as much as our traditional medical industry is about profits and making money, well, so is the natural healing industry. Think about all the different dietary theories that are out there. The last count that I had, there are over 114 different diets out there. How confusing does that make us? But let's get back to my original question. Do you feel like you are constantly fighting some sickness or even seasonal allergies or metabolic diseases? Know that you can be healed of all of it. But it's not about getting sick and getting healed. It's about not getting sick to begin with. Think about that. I love what Jordan Rubin says. The best way to cure disease is never to get it. I can't agree with him any more than that. I stand firmly behind that statement. Instead of fighting to lower prescription costs or get better health insurance or have more medical issues covered, how about if we all work at not needing any of it? We don't need to go to the doctor because we're well. We don't need prescription medicine because we're not sick. How about making lifestyle changes that really bring you to a place of wholeness and health? When I was a child, we only went to the doctor when we were really sick. Otherwise, our mom kept us in bed, made homemade chicken soup, and gave us fluids. Now we have something called wellness checkups. Why do we need to be checked up if we're well? I'm not saying that going and getting your blood work checked is wrong, but can we do a paradigm shift and maybe stop eating junk food? Or stop putting toxins on our body? Or change our cleaning products, not cook on toxic pans? Or stop fertilizing with chemicals? Or never use Roundup or get restorative sleep? Manage our stress. How about that? Or how are we managing our stress these days? Or how about heal our past traumas? What if we took a focus on those things that I just listed? And those are just a few. There's many more we can make lifestyle changes in. And then how about seeing how we have changes in our health from that? Will you get better sleep? Will you have more energy? Will you be able to get on the floor and maybe play with your grandkids? Or maybe not fight sickness or disease? Or you'll be able to go out for a walk without being out of breath. Or how about this? Maybe get off your medications. Or depression or anxiety leave your body. Or this might be the best one. You'll have more money to take a nice vacation instead of spending on doctors or medical issues. Well, those are just a few of the things to think about. Now, if it feels overwhelming to make lifestyle changes, that list I gave is a short list. There's lots of other things that you can do. And if that feels overwhelming, it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to feel overwhelming to make lifestyle changes. You just take it one step or one issue at a time. And know it's going to take some time. You're not going to, after a week, making some lifestyle changes, think that your health is going to be miraculously well. If you think that, then you're deceiving yourself and you're going to just set yourself up for failure. You gradually got to where you are. So it might take some time and dedication to make changes and then see the effect, the positive effect of those changes. And it'll also depend on how serious you are. When I had yeast overgrowth in my body over 40 years ago, I made drastic changes. And I followed what my integrative medicine doctor told me because I wanted to be well. I couldn't stand dealing with the issue any longer. I had reached my enough is enough point. I did have relief after about 30 days, so it is possible to have some improvements quickly happen, but that's not always the case. But we must be dedicated. And we must make that decision to make those changes. So in summary, if you are dealing with sickness one after another, I can't encourage this more to make lifestyle changes so that you can begin to have positive results. And I promise you, you will. And I am here to help if you need that support and if you feel overwhelmed by it all. So I hope this message encourages you. In my messages, sometimes I know I give a lot of information and I don't want to discourage people. I don't want to overwhelm people, but I want to give you an impact to make that decision, to make those changes in your life and to be dedicated with those changes and to kind of have a stick to it attitude. And if this message wasn't for you and these changes you do not need to do because you're not fighting with sickness and disease, but you do know someone that is, then please pass this message along. And as always, if you found this message helpful and this information helpful, I would really appreciate it if you would like it, because that does help with algorithms and helps get my message spread out even greater. So friends, thank you for taking time to listen. Be blessed, be encouraged, and please be well. God bless. Thank you, my friends, for taking the time to listen to my podcast. I hope you found it uplifting and encouraging, and that it guides you to having peace, love, joy, and health in your life. If you would like more information on my coaching programs, then go to my website, reginasanchez.com, where you can see the services I offer to give you a fresh start after trauma. You can also find my book, Can I Have Your Heart, Daddy, on Amazon. It is my personal journey back to the heart of my Heavenly Father. Be blessed, be encouraged, and know that you are loved.